Before I start, I wanted to share this with you. This is my understanding. I don't know shit. All I'm doing here is sharing my journey. And the things that I say are the things that I feel. This is just my journey. If this journey makes sense to you and you understand what I'm saying, then stick around. But if it's offensive, don't stick around. And it is important for me to share the things that I feel and the things that have happened to me in my life. I want to say obviously to this, but it seems like it's not that obvious. The things that I say are just my opinion. And if I say things in a hyperbolic manner, then you can just take it as that. A lot of things that happened to me in my past make me extremely angry. It makes me furious. And I'm just sharing those feelings and the reasons why I think this is happening. So this is my story. This is my journey. If you're a Christian and you don't want to hear offensive things said, then leave. But if you want to stick around, stick around. I really do appreciate everyone. G'day everyone, I'm Ben and this is Counterfeit Christianity. I'm feeling really thankful today and I'm glad to be here. Also glad for all the people who are following along on this journey with me. And yeah, I really do appreciate you. Like I've said in many other videos, I try to say it in most, but I forget sometimes. But I really appreciate when people tell me what they're thinking, who follow along on the journey with me. And I really appreciate those guys that are always leaving comments. It's very encouraging to me. So I wanted to just share that with you again today. It helps me keep on making these videos. I love being along this journey of relationship with our Creator, with our Dad, with the living God, and being freed from all these lies of Christianity that we all have had put onto us. So I wanted to share a story today. I meant to do it yesterday, but I have quite a few food allergies, and yesterday I got massively affected from eating some beans. It really fucked me up. It blocked my whole nose up and couldn't breathe, sneezing continuously. I used to think it was hay fever and things like that when it used to happen to me in the past, but now I realize there's so many things that I can't eat. And I'm sure in their natural way of being that hasn't been manipulated by evil people and sprayed with chemicals and everything like that, I'd be okay, but I can't eat any milk product. I can't eat any wheat product. I can't eat anything like that. I'm pretty much left with meat. Not that I'm complaining about that. I really like it. I'm glad to be on this journey of healing in many different ways of my life, realizing what is actually happening. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. I've got a bit of a sore eye still today and my nose is a little bit blocked still, but usually if I eat something that I can't handle, it goes away in a couple of days. So I wanted to share this story today. It was a dream I had a couple of nights ago, and it was really interesting because usually I don't remember dreams too much. Usually that is not a way that the living God, our Daddy, sort of has in the past showed me things, but I like it. It's fun. And I know that there's lots of different ways to hear from him and lots of people hear from him in different ways. And I usually just am in conversation with him all the time and he tells me what's good and what's not in my life. And I usually just flow with him that way. But I also love having this dream. And normally I don't remember dreams at all if I have them. And if I do, by the time the day comes around, it's totally gone. Like I'm like, oh, I'll remember that for sure. But then later on, I just can't. It's just gone. But this one has stuck with me and it's quite vivid. I think it's really fun just to hear other people's stories of their journey with God. If you look at it from face value, you would say that it's a nightmare. And I've had nightmares before and I know what they make you feel like. As you come out of them, you're like, oh, wow, that's really heavy. Or something big goes on and then you're just like, crap, it makes me feel even worse. But it was a pretty weird dream and a freaky dream, and I saw some interesting things in the dream, but when I came out of it, I was absolutely at peace and I felt really great. It was definitely a joyful thing. And it connects with this idea of hell. And like always, like this could just be me. It could just be a dream that I had, but it makes sense to me in this way that I'm going to share with you. So I was actually woken up. It was about 2 a.m. and I woke up and I couldn't go back to sleep and I just had to write it all down, what I actually noticed. But it is connected to this idea of hell that I've talked about before. And what I think hell is right now, if you choose it, or it's the absence of being in a relationship with God. So if you're stuck inside of a system, that's what Jesus actually came for. He came to separate us from systematic religions and all these other things in the world. And he came to show us that that's not him, that's not God, that these systems of religions like Christianity and Islam and all these other things that people like to get tied up in are not him. It's just a system that's been built around him that will put you in hell. It's actually hell to be inside of them. And that's why they killed him. And that's why I've said in the past that if Jesus came back now, the Christians would beat him to death in the aisle of their church. This dream was really interesting to me because as soon as I wrote it down, I instantly went back to sleep too. So normally in the past, if I've woken up at night, I'll just wake up and then that's it. I have to get up, like even if it's 2 a.m. But yeah, I went straight back to sleep again and it was great. It was a really weird dream. So I went into this, it was like a massive big black castle and it was huge. So the interior was like lots of small little rooms and there were massive vaulted ceilings where I couldn't see the top. And in each room, there was like a bunch of different people doing different, just random things. Some of them were weird, some of them weren't, but it was like perpetual motion where they were continuously like doing this thing over and over and over again. As I was walking through these rooms, I feel like it was like hell, but it was like a reflection of what it's like for all of us when we're stuck in these rhythms of the world and of religion, continuously like doing the same thing over and over again. I was looking at these people in the room and they were really angry. They were hunched over the thing that they were doing and I'd say something to them and they would yell at me and tell me to fuck off. And it was just this anger. And we see this anger coming out in the comments from Christians. And that's what I think it's from, because they're in hell. They're in this personal hell because they're separated from God. They're just in a system that tells you it's God. And the doorway was like here, and there was a doorway directly across from it in a small room, and there was people on the right doing their thing, like lots and lots of people. I wasn't able to focus on everything, but lots and lots of people doing their thing in this small side of the room. And then on the left, there was like demons, weird looking demons with heaps of arms and stuff like that. And I realized later on what else was there, but I'll share that later. But then I would go from room to room, and that's what was happening inside of these rooms. People like fully focused on their thing that they were doing. And it was really, really intense for them. And it was like taking their whole soul and their whole being. And they were focused on this over the top. Like if you say anything to them, they'll tell you to fuck off and like get out, and they're screaming at you and stuff like that. Like someone in a prison. It was like a Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves back in the day where he broke out of that prison. It was like that vibe. I remember that movie really well because I watched it when I was a kid. It was like that sort of vibe. Everyone's like tormented and they're in this hell. And I would go from room to room, and when I was in the room, it would click over and I would start again doing the same motion, the same thing in this hell of being angry and really focused on their stuff. I went through multiple different rooms and it was the same thing. It was funny because I didn't feel frightened. It was a freaky, scary place, but I wasn't frightened at all. I wasn't alone. I was sort of led through this, and I was showed all these different places, and it was just people doing different things over and over and over again. Towards the end, like every room, there was always another demon like in control of the room, I suppose, when I'm thinking back on it. It wasn't like people like killing each other. It was just like a thing where people were really focused on themselves and focused on their thing, and they're just killing themselves in this life of hell, and over and over and over and over and over again. And then eventually I realized, because when I woke up I sort of got some more clarity about what was happening, and I was being led through this, and it's me, but it could be anybody. It's just a story. But then I was being led through these rooms, and I realized at the end, like, every single room had a demon in the side, but next to it there was a big bright door that you could walk through. And so every single room had another door leading to the outside, the big bright massive door right to the ceiling. It was like a big vaulted door with a ceiling, and it was big bright. You could see the sun coming through, but also the blue sky. And at the same time, like, they were free to be there or they were free to go. It was a freedom that they had to be in this thing, in this living hell that they were choosing to be in, doing their thing, continuously focused, and it was overwhelming for them, and they were angered, but they chose it, continuously chose it. And towards the end of the dream, I just walked out the door, and I realized it was God or Jesus leading me through this. And some of the stuff, as I thought about it more the next day, I'm like, oh, that's what actually happened. In the moment, I knew I was being led by something, but I didn't know who. And it was God, it was Jesus, it was good. And so that's why I didn't feel scared. He was just showing me. And that really reflects on this idea of hell that I've talked about in the past. This hell that Christians tell you about to be fearful of, that the reason that they do all the things that they're supposed to do is so that they don't die and go to hell, but they're in hell right now. It's like this hell of this world that we're so focused on. We're in the same world, but with the living God, with our daddy, who is flowing us through it. I've shared this idea that God gave me a while ago of what it's like to be with him. It's like a massive flowing river. That's a huge wide river. I've been to the Mekong when I was in Cambodia on a motorbike trip years ago. I might have some photos if I can find them, but it was overflowing in the wet season. It was massive. It was like a huge, brutal river. You couldn't see the other side, and the waves were 10 times as tall as a human, just like flowing, rushing down that river. It's a big, beautiful, big, brutal river, I meant to say. And on that river, God has shown me what it's like to flow with him, just sitting in a boat. I'm not in control of the rudder. I'm just being with him, and he flows me through and makes everything good. That's life. The river is life, and being with him on the boat and releasing my control to him is heaven. It's freedom from hell. And that is the difference between the world, religions in the world, and different ways of living, different people that you follow, different teachers, different experts. If you follow a human, you're in hell because you have to figure it out yourself. But if you are able to release everything to our daddy, to the creator, to the living God, then you can be free to flow through life with him, to flow through this massive, brutal river of life. Because if you focus on these things of life, you will die. It'll kill you. And I used to be that. I used to live in that life. I used to be legalistic in Christianity and like want to hold people to account. But I realize now that that's evil. And those things are evil. But it was what I was shown, and that's what they indoctrinated me with when I was younger, of what it means to be a Christian. But now I have repented from being that, so I know that being Christian isn't good. It doesn't give you any freedom. It's just a box to put you in. Real, true freedom is a relationship with God that he will flow you through life as he wishes. And that's the hard part. As he wishes in his time. And that's a hard part for most people to be okay with, is just to release that and be with him as he wishes in his time. But that's what it means to float. And that's what it means to be separate from hell. Like in that dream, you can walk through that door anytime. He's always there. Not through the next door into another room of hell where another man is telling you what to do, where a demon's in control. But that's what we always seem to. We remove ourselves from something and then move into another room with somebody else who's telling us what to do and telling us what's right and wrong and all that sort of stuff. I prefer to be free with the creator of the world, the living God, my daddy, our daddy, so that we can be free to be ourselves in a good relationship with him, so he will flow us into what's good. I just felt like I should share that with you, the way that God always shows us things in ways that we can understand, because all of our journeys are individual. We have been cursed with certain things and blessed with certain things in our lives. So that's why nothing works. There's no cookie cutter way of being with him. So that's why I always tell you, be with him. Intentionally go to him and say, I want to be with you. And then he will start that journey with you and flow you into good things. And I really do love that. I'm not telling you to go and be with another man. Be with the creator of the world. Be with the living God. And then you can be free. And we can all flow into the place that he wants us to be. It's individual, but then he will flow you into places with other people who are on the way as well. And I've found so much freedom and joy from this journey that I get to be free to be myself without any restraints. And that is good because I am with him. And people don't understand that. They go, oh, you're not going to be good. You can't be good unless you have rules and regs. I'm like, no, you can do whatever the fuck you want, because those dreams and desires are in your heart, are from him. He put them there. But like always, this is my understanding. I don't know shit. I'm just some Aussie blogan that's fumbling his way through life. And I'm having a lot of fun on this journey with you guys. So I really, really do appreciate you. And thank you for being here. Like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of good stuff. It's super encouraging for me to see people, see their conversations in the comment section. And when you share a little bit about yourself, it's always really encouraging for me as well. And I really do appreciate you guys. And I'll see you next time.